Imagine this. A red streak blazes across the stars. A heartbeat later, it crashes into an alien battleship the size of a city. The metal groans, the alarms scream, and in the deepest cell of that ship, Captain Marvel lifts her head, bruised, bloodied, but not broken. She senses something. Hope. Because he just arrived. Superman. But this isn't just a rescue. It's a war. Unknowingly, Superman has entered a prison ship run by a species engineered to absorb superpowers. Every second he stays, he grows weaker. Every second they grow stronger. But he doesn't know that yet. And Captain Marvel? She's chained with tech that even Kryptonian eyes can't melt. Can the Man of Steel save Earth's most powerful Avenger in time? Or will the ship become a tomb? For both of them, this is the collision of two universes, two legends, and one impossible choice. What if Superman had entered that alien spaceship just minutes before it became a galactic trap? The stars didn't flicker that night. They pulsed. The sky above Earth was wrong, the kind of wrong that made satellites glitch and space stations go dark. A shadow, cold and alive, moved through the galaxy like a ghost ship built from nightmares. It wasn't just big, it was ancient. A fortress of alien metal, stretching miles across, floating with purpose. Inside its heart, silence. A cold, unnatural silence that didn't feel empty, it felt full. Full of watching eyes, full of machines that breathed and plotted. Full of power. And locked in the lowest part of that ship, beneath 20 layers of quantum-coated steel, was Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. She had fought. Oh, she had fought. She took down 8 sentries before they overwhelmed her. She blasted through walls, shattered force fields, until the ship learned her energy signature. It adapted. She collapsed, drained and furious, her wrists chained by dark tech older than Earth itself. She wasn't just imprisoned, she was studied. Every second, the ship was learning her, mapping her strength, her photon energy, her DNA. She could feel it, and she knew they weren't trying to kill her. They were trying to become her. The guards never spoke, not with mouths anyway. They moved like vapor, teleporting in and out with pulses of blue light. Their eyes shimmered like data screens. They weren't living in the way we understand. They were programs inside bodies, an alien AI collective. But tonight, something changed. She felt it before she heard it. A ripple, a tremor, like the entire ship had exhaled. Then came the noise, deep, sharp, like a bell made of planets. And every guard in the hall froze. Systems blinked. Sensors went mad. A heat signature appeared outside the ship's hull, and it was impossible. A red blur tore through space like a meteor. Superman, not from this universe, not from her world. But he was here, and she had no idea how or why. The alien ship turned its attention instantly. Weapons charged. Energy barriers lit up in layers. 1,000 cannons aimed at the incoming object. He didn't slow down. He crashed through the outer hull like paper, exploding through decks, floors, and machinery, but perfectly controlled. Not a single human casualty. Not a single explosion in space. He landed in the corridor just 20 meters from her cell. She looked up, blood on her lip, eyes wide. He turned, and they locked eyes for the first time. Not a word spoken, just mutual recognition. Trouble. The floor beneath him shifted. The ship reformed, adapting, learning his molecular structure in milliseconds. The AI knew this wasn't just another threat. This was something new. Kal-El could feel it. The gravity was heavier here. Not from mass, from intention. The ship was alive, and now it was reacting. The more he moved, the more it learned. He looked around, analyzing the materials, the tech, the physics-defying architecture. It wasn't just trying to stop him. It was trying to trap him. He moved anyway. Super speed engaged, but it didn't work like it should. His acceleration dropped mid-step. The corridor stretched like a rubber band. His momentum slowed unnaturally. Time was bending. He gritted his teeth and broke through, punching a wall, finding Captain Marvel's cell. The force field shimmered with blue-green pulses. "I don't know who you are," she said, voice hoarse but steady. "But if you're here to help, we need to move. Now." "I'm Superman," he replied, scanning the locks. "You're being drained." "So am I. The ship's feeding off us," she said. "Everything we do makes it smarter, stronger." He narrowed his eyes, heat vision activated, but the beams were absorbed instantly into the wall. "It learned your powers already?" he asked. "It's been copying mine since I got here," she said. "It's probably already evolving yours." "Then we don't have much time." Suddenly, the corridor behind them shifted. It didn't open, it grew. A humanoid figure stepped forward, tall, shimmering with refracted light. Its body was made of the same armor as the ship. No face, just a shifting screen where its head should be. Superman turned. The figure tilted its head. Then it spoke, not in sound, in thought. "Power confirmed. Kryptonian strand. Initiating phase 2. The air turned electric. Gravity reversed for a second, then snapped back. Behind the figure, dozens more emerged. All of them shaped differently. Some massive, some fast, all terrifying. "They cloned you already," Captain Marvel muttered. "Looks like it." Superman stepped forward. "Get behind me." Carol tried to stand, but staggered. He clenched his fists, but something was wrong. His muscles felt heavier. His senses flickered. He could feel the ship sinking to his heart rate. The longer he stayed here, the more it copied. He launched forward anyway. Fist met armor. A shockwave ripped through the corridor, but the clone didn't fall. It absorbed the blow, then countered with speed matching Superman's own. He flew back, slamming into the wall beside Carol's cell. "You can't fight them head on," she said. "Not here. This whole ship is a learning machine. They're building an army. Exactly. One that looks like us." Superman stood again, slower this time. "Then we shut it down from the inside. First, get me out of these cuffs." He moved to her, but the cuffs were glowing now, shifting. They weren't just suppressing her power anymore. They were transmitting it. "You free me," she said. "The ship copies everything I've got. Cosmic power, binary form. You sure you want to risk that?" He looked her in the eyes. "I'd rather fight one super alien ship with you than 100 without." Carol smirked. "Good answer." He placed his hands on the cuffs. His strength flickered again, fading, but still there. He focused, felt the alien code shifting, adapting, resisting. Then he cracked it. The cuffs shattered. Captain Marvel stood, energy surging, eyes blazing. The floor beneath them lit up with red symbols. An alarm blared, not one of panic, one of activation. The ship had what it wanted: Kryptonian DNA, cosmic power. It was done learning. Now it was going to create. And Earth was the test site. The cuffs hit the ground like dead weight. But the energy they left behind didn't vanish. It pulsed outward, blue lightning crawling through the floor like veins waking up after centuries of sleep. Carol didn't hesitate. Her hands ignited, cosmic fire roaring from her fists. As she snapped her neck side to side, eyes glowing white-hot. Power surged through her, back where it belonged. But sharper now, wounded, controlled. And the ship felt it. Its walls rippled. The metal groaned like it was alive, not reacting, welcoming. Superman tensed. This thing, it wanted us powered up. "It needed both of us active," Carol said, stepping beside him. "We just completed whatever phase it was planning. I hate being part of someone else's plan." You get used to it. Above them, the ceiling opened, not with doors or panels, but like skin tearing. From the dark beyond, a shape dropped. It wasn't a clone. It wasn't a guard. It was something new. A creature made from Superman's frame, armored with Captain Marvel's energy signature. Its body shimmered with a red-blue burn. Not just wearing their powers, merging them. It landed hard, denting the floor with a gravity ripple. And it didn't wait. It moved. Faster than sound. Faster than thought. Carol threw up a shield. Too slow. The hybrid slammed into her midair, sent her flying through the corridor wall. Superman caught her on the rebound, barely, both of them crashing together. The ship bent space around them again, corridors folding like paper, turning one hallway into a prison maze. "I'm starting to hate this place," Superman growled, eyes glowing. "You're not the only one," Carol coughed, wiping blood from her mouth. The hybrid stalked toward them. No wasted motion, no taunts, just lethal precision. Superman launched forward. They collided midair, fists like thunder, shockwaves rolling down the corridor and bending steel. But the hybrid didn't slow. Every punch Superman threw, it learned. Every blow he landed, it adapted. It was evolving mid-fight. Superman was strong, but this thing was becoming perfect. Carol flanked it, photon blasts tearing down the hall. She slammed into its side, driving it through a bulkhead wall. They emerged into a massive internal chamber, a void of rotating machines, glowing cores, and a swirling vortex in the center. The heart of the ship, the mind core. Hundreds of cables hung from the ceiling, connected to liquid tanks. Inside each tank, a clone half-formed. Some looked like Carol, some like Kal-El, others unrecognizable, monstrous. "This is it," she breathed. "It's building an army, not just building." Superman pointed to the vortex. "It's growing them in every reality." The ship wasn't just learning from them. It was uploading their DNA into a multiversal forge. Carol's eyes widened. "It's creating hybrids in parallel timelines. Infinite versions of us, turned into weapons." A pulse hit them. A wave of gravity forced them to their knees. The hybrid emerged again, faster now, its body crackling with unstable cosmic energy. Its hands split, forming plasma blades. It wasn't just mimicking their powers anymore. It was combining them in ways they'd never imagined. Carol surged forward in binary form, her entire body a star of energy. She hit the hybrid with everything she had, straight into the vortex. It staggered, but didn't fall. Superman flew above, grabbing one of the power conduits. He ripped it from the ceiling and hurled it like a spear. Direct hit. The mind core screamed. Not a sound, a feeling. It was like the idea of pain exploded inside their heads. The ship lurched sideways. Alarms across every deck roared to life. The vortex destabilized, releasing fragments of time and space. Whole versions of Earth flickered in and out of the chamber. One version, a dead planet overrun by hybrids. Another, a burning sky, Superman statues crumbled. Captain Marvel's symbol twisted into alien language. They were seeing futures, real ones, and they were losing. "This doesn't stop with us," Kal said, struggling to hold his footing. "This ship is just the first seed. We take out the core," Carol said. "We burn the tree." The hybrid wasn't down. It rose from the vortex, scarred, furious. Its body shifted again, new limbs forming, wings of energy unfurling. Its face split into two, one half Superman, one half Captain Marvel, speaking in both voices at once. "You are the past," it said. "We are the evolution." Then it attacked. They fought like stars colliding, fist to fist, blast to blast. Carol unleashed pure light, blinding in intensity, holding the hybrid back by inches. Kal launched through the vortex, gathering kinetic force from every flicker of timeline he passed. He returned as a red comet, shoulder first into the hybrid. Finally, it cracked. The hybrid screamed, staggered, and fell backward into the vortex. Carol closed her fists, summoned everything left in her, and blasted the core. The room erupted. The vortex imploded, dragging the hybrid and half the clones into a collapsing black sphere. Energy shredded the walls. The ship began to eat itself. "We gotta go," Carol shouted. "No time to find an exit," Superman yelled back. "I'll make one." He flew upward, heat vision blazing, fists smashing through layers of the ship as Carol followed, blasting open corridors. Behind them, the core chamber vanished in light. Explosions rippled through decks. The ship was dying. They broke through the upper hull, just as the entire structure folded in on itself, disappearing into a collapsing dimension. Silence returned to space. For a moment, Carol floated beside him, panting, armor cracked. "You good?" "I've been worse." They looked down at Earth, still safe, still untouched. But in the blackness beyond, faint echoes. The ship was gone. But the data? It could have survived. And the hybrids? There might be more. Carol spoke first. We didn't just break the ship. We broke its timeline. Superman nodded. And timelines don't stay broken for long. Somewhere in the multiverse, something was watching, learning, waiting. And the war hadn't even started yet. Earth was safe for now, but they could both feel it. The silence wasn't victory. It was the eye of something bigger, something not yet finished. They hovered above the atmosphere, the stars behind them no longer still. A faint ripple moved across space, like the scar of something enormous tearing through dimensions. Superman's eyes narrowed. Did you feel that? I felt it in my spine, Carol said, like something just replaced itself in the timeline. Before they could speak again, space glitched. For half a second, Earth was gone. In its place, a broken version. Dead skies. Oceans boiled dry. And rising from its surface, thousands of silhouettes wearing their faces. Then it flickered back. Normal. Real. Carol turned to Cal. That wasn't a vision. No, he said. That was bleed over. The ship may be gone, but the multiverse is still sinking. They both knew what that meant. Something was coming through. From behind, the void cracked like glass. A sliver of a wormhole opened, not like the one Superman knew. This one was unstable, ugly, shifting in color like it couldn't decide what reality it belonged to. Then it expanded. Out of it came a figure, floating, calm, not mechanical, not alien, human, or almost. He looked like Clark, but older, worn. A red sun symbol glowed on his chest instead of the House of El. His cape tattered, his eyes dim, and beside him floated another, a woman unmistakably like Carol, but her energy was black fire, pulsing with something corrupted. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. They were from a timeline where the ship won, where they had lost. Carol stepped forward, fists glowing. You really want to do this? The alternate Superman raised a hand. We're not here to fight, but you will, the dark Carol added, her voice laced with energy distortion. Because you'll never agree with what needs to be done. Cal glanced between them, which is to shut the multiverse, Alt Superman said. Permanently. Lock every strand, every choice, every reality. Only one timeline survives. And let me guess, Carol snapped, it's yours. The man didn't blink. It's the only one where the hybrids don't win. Superman shook his head. There's always another way. There was, Alt Carol said, but your mercy made things worse. Your hope gave them time, and now they've evolved into something we can't stop. She turned, and the rip in space widened. Beyond it, dozens of hybrid ships. Not just one anymore, each with a vortex, each building armies, each timeline infected. Carol clenched her fists. You're telling us this now? No, Alt Superman replied. We're giving you a choice. The stars behind them warped, and suddenly they weren't in Earth's orbit anymore. They were inside a fractured dimension, floating above a battlefield of collapsing timelines. Realities stitched together like broken bones. Every version of Earth was at war. On one, an army of hybrid supermen tore down the Statue of Liberty. On another, a dark Captain Marvel burned through skyscrapers like matchsticks. Everywhere, hybrids marched, twisted copies of heroes, faster, smarter, evolved beyond their originals. Superman turned, fury building. This is what happens if we lose. Alt Carol nodded. This is what happens when you hesitate. Carol looked down at the chaos. How do we stop it? Alt Superman opened his hand. A device hovered between them, a crystalline orb, pulsing with red energy. Inside, fragments of timelines swirled like trap storms. This is a quantum lock, he said. One activation, one timeline preserved, all others erased. Cal stared at it. You're asking me to kill trillions. I'm asking you to choose, he said. Because if you don't, the hybrids will. Silence. Carol floated back, breathing heavy. We fight. We don't erase. You think you're saving lives, Alt Carol said. But every minute you wait, another version of us gets turned into a monster. Superman stared into the orb. So much potential, so much destruction. Every beat of time inside that crystal was a universe, a home, a choice. He crushed it. The orb exploded into harmless light. "No," he said. "We don't decide who gets to live." Carol smiled. "Now that's the Superman I needed today." Alt-Superman looked almost relieved. "You passed," he said. "What?" That was the final test. The battlefield vanished. They were back in space. Alt-Superman's eyes were different now, brighter. "We needed to know if your timeline was stable enough, strong enough, if your choices were guided by hope or fear." Carol blinked. "You were testing us? Only one strand can lead the fight across all realities," Alt-Carol said. "Yours just proved it has a chance." Superman frowned. "What fight?" Alt-Superman looked toward the stars. The hybrids weren't the end. They were just the beginning. Something deeper created them. Something older than time. Carol narrowed her eyes. "A creator?" Alt-Carol answered. "No, a collector." And just like that, they were gone. No portal, no flare, just absence. Carol and Cal floated in silence. Earth below, multiverse above. But everything had changed. Superman looked at her. "We just got recruited into a war across existence." Carol cracked her knuckles, cosmic fire dancing in her palms. "Then let's find the others." The silence after their disappearance didn't feel peaceful. It felt loaded, like the multiverse was holding its breath. Carol hovered above Earth, her mind racing. The cosmic energy around her still trembled from everything they'd just seen. Superman floated beside her, fists clenched, eyes locked on the distant stars. "We need answers," he said, "and fast." "They mentioned a collector," Carol replied. "Something worse than the hybrids. Something that made them." Cal nodded, "Which means someone is still moving pieces behind the board." Without another word, they launched through the stratosphere, slicing through clouds, descending like comets toward the surface. In seconds, they landed in a remote mountain range, silent, snow-covered, untouched by war. Cal turned toward a ridge. "I know someone who's been tracking multiversal anomalies longer than either of us." From the edge of the cliff, a figure emerged, tall, draped in a tattered cloak stitched with symbols from dead timelines. His face, half covered, revealed only one glowing eye, shifting between colors like it was syncing to multiple realities at once. Doctor Strange, but not theirs. "Multiverses fraying," Strange said calmly, as if he'd been waiting. "And you've both lit a fire." Carol folded her arms. "You knew." Strange gestured behind him. Reality shimmered, revealing a hidden temple floating above the mountain, carved into the fabric between dimensions. Inside, timelines whispered like wind, and doors led to futures that hadn't happened yet. "I've seen what's coming," Strange said. "And it doesn't have a name, just a hunger." Cal frowned. "The collector?" Strange nodded. "Older than the timelines. It doesn't build, it doesn't destroy. It harvests. Realities, memories, powers. Everything it touches becomes data." Carol stepped forward. "So the hybrids? The ship? Just tools." "Probes," Strange said. "Sent into timelines to copy, clone, extract." "Then where's the core?" Cal asked. "Where does all that stolen power go?" Strange looked up. "There's a place outside the wheel. A null zone. No time, no light, just raw compression. That's where the collector sits. Watching. Feeding." Carol's fist glowed. "Then we hit it. End of story." Strange shook his head. "You can't reach it alone. The zone only opens to keys, beings who've touched every major thread of fate." Superman's eyes narrowed. "Who?" "The ones who broke their destinies, who weren't supposed to exist, but do anyway." Carol understood immediately. "Variants. Not just any," Strange said. "The ones fate rejected and still survived." With a flick of his hand, a portal opened. Beyond it, chaos. A battlefield frozen in time. Lightning suspended midair. Worlds bleeding into each other. And in the center, a woman. Black armor. Hair crackling with electricity. A hammer made of collapsed stars in her hand. "Is that?" Cal stepped forward, stunned. Strange nodded. Thor. But not the one you know. She's the first key. Carol smiled. Then what are we waiting for? They stepped through the portal, and the moment they arrived, time exploded into motion. Thunder roared. The sky shattered. The female Thor spun toward them, ready to strike. But her eyes locked with Cal's, and something in her paused. Her hammer trembled. Recognition sparked. "You're not from here," she said. "No," Cal said, "but we're here for the same reason." She lowered her weapon, slowly. "The Collector." Carol nodded. "We need your help." Thor turned away, looking at the sky above her battlefield, where the clouds formed faces, each one a timeline collapsing. "I've fought the hybrids," she said. "Alone. Killed thousands. They keep coming." "We found the source," Cal said, "and we have a way in." Strange stepped forward. "You're the first. We need 6 more. 7 keys. 1 shot." She turned, her eyes fierce. "Then let's find the others." Strange raised his hands again, portals blooming around them like stars opening. Through one portal, a version of Bruce Banner, who stayed Hulk but kept his mind, and now carried a world on his back. Through another, a Spider-Man who'd fused with the symbiote and learned to control it without becoming a monster. Another showed a Wanda who never lost her children, and now reigned over a peace-forged timeline with power tempered by love. Another revealed a Black Panther who never became king, but became something greater, a guardian of multiversal gateways, wielding a cloak of shifting dimensions. And the final portal showed someone none of them recognized, a being of light and code, with a cracked Omega symbol on his chest. Carol looked at Strange. "Who's that?" "Someone the Collector fears," Strange said. "The Omega variant. He's not from a timeline. He's from the code between timelines." Cal took a breath. "This is it," he said. "The team." Carol nodded. "Then we go to war." The female Thor raised her hammer. Lightning surged, and the multiverse braced itself. Because for the first time, the Collector wasn't hunting. It was being hunted. The space between realities screamed as they entered. The 7 of them, each from a timeline fate had tried to erase, moved through a collapsing void, wrapped in a shield forged by Strange himself. Around them, time twisted into impossible shapes. Stars formed and died in seconds. Forgotten universes burned like sparks in a furnace. They were headed to the one place no one was meant to reach, the Null Core, where the Collector lived. Not a throne, not a machine, a presence, invisible, but felt in every molecule. It didn't greet them. It didn't speak. It studied. They arrived in a space that wasn't space, floating in a sphere of dying timelines stitched together like patchwork skin. Massive cables pulsed from the outer edges, leading into the dark center, where a single pulsating shape throbbed like a heart made of starlight and screams. Carol stepped forward. "This is it." Superman looked into the void. The engine behind the hybrids. Behind everything. The Omega variant finally spoke. His voice was glitching, like it was being streamed from a broken future. "We have 60 seconds before it detects us fully." Dr. Strange raised his hands. "Then we hit it before it learns." They moved as one. Thor hurled her star hammer into the nearest conduit. It detonated on impact, sending energy spiraling through the stitched timelines. Hulk leapt across crumbling realities, tearing through the Collector's memory vaults, each one containing entire civilizations stored like data files. Spider-Man, symbiote suit alive and roaring, cut down defense constructs with webs laced in antimatter. Wanda reshaped time currents like rivers, creating windows of perfect clarity, allowing Carol and Cal to fly straight into the Null Core. They broke through the first layer, and the Collector awoke, not with words, with force. Reality exploded outward, sending each of them flying. Colors inverted, gravity reversed. Whole laws of physics crumbled under the weight of the Collector's will. It wasn't just a being, it was a system, a living equation. And now it was defending itself. Massive tendrils of raw code lashed out from the heart of the core. Each tendril morphed into corrupted versions of the heroes, twisted supermen, demonic Carols, spider creatures wrapped in decay. You will be remembered as Data. The voice finally came. Cold, emotionless, inevitable. Superman punched through one corrupted version of himself. His heat vision splitting two more. Carol went binary again, body bursting with white-hot energy, vaporizing the tendrils that tried to pierce the group. But the Collector adapted faster than the hybrids ever had. It began to split them. Each hero was pulled into their own pocket dimension, forced to confront the worst versions of themselves. Thor faced a universe where she let rage consume her, becoming the god butcher she once fought. Wanda saw a version of herself who tore the multiverse apart to bring back children who weren't even real. Spider-Man faced one where he killed his enemies early and ruled his world in peace alone. Carol? She found herself staring into a mirror of pure light. No battle, just a voice. You always wanted to lead, to be more. We can give you everything. She didn't answer with words. She ignited. One burst, everything gone. No shortcuts, she muttered. Not today. One by one, each hero rejected their false selves, tearing free of the Collector's traps, regrouping around the core. The Collector's form had now become visible, a massive, shifting figure of light and void, holding compressed galaxies like beads on a string. You are anomalies, it said. You are thieves of order. Cal floated forward, cape torn, eyes glowing with the fury of 1,000 suns. We're the correction, he said, and your archive ends now. Doctor Strange opened the final seal, a spell that only worked in places where time never flowed. The Omega variant placed his cracked hands on the core surface. It screamed. The Collector tried to shut the reality down. Too late. Carol and Cal punched forward. Together, raw Kryptonian might and cosmic photon energy fused in a single moment. The Collector cracked, then shattered, and the null core exploded. Not in light, in silence, like a secret finally erased. The heroes were flung backward, through collapsing dimensions, timelines collapsing behind them like dominoes. One final gate opened, strange portal, anchored to Earth Prime. They fell through, breathless, scarred, but whole. They landed in the sky above Earth again, just as the stars settled. No more static, no more ripples, just peace. Carol hovered beside Superman, looking down at the planet they'd just saved. How do we even explain this? She asked. We don't, Cal said. They'll never know. She smirked. Classic. The others emerged behind them, watching the horizon with quiet awe. One battle done, but now they knew the truth. The multiverse wasn't broken. It was alive, and it was watching. Superman turned to them all. If anything ever comes through again, we stand, Carol said, nodding. Together. Thor raised her hammer. Spider-Man offered a half smile. Wanda closed her eyes and whispered a word of balance. And above them all, Doctor Strange spoke one final time. There will be more Collectors, more things we don't yet understand. But now they'll know one thing. What's that? Carol asked. Strange looked into the stars. That this timeline fights back.